We've already seen that heavyweights is one of the toughest championships Club 100 has. Gavin Knight and Jeff Simons, joint third, have failed to qualify from the B final. James Child has made it through, yes, but he starts at the back of this grid. He's got a mountain to climb. Championship leader James Atfield starts on grid 5. His main challenger Will Gibson ahead of him on grid 3. But pole position belongs to singing sensation Dave Pethers, with James Taylor on the front row with him. Superb qualifying by Rudy Tyson to start P4. Look out for Mark Oliver on grid 7. Joe Richardson brings them through, winding them up. Here we go, the tension mounts. Rolling up the start now, they're underway. Pethers has got the lead over the start line as he should. Gibson on the bumper, he's going to go through the second. Taylor's on the outside line is always struggling. Round turn 1, charge down to turn 2. On board with Steve Kendall in the midfield. He won at Lid, but he's got a lot to do from where he is. And it's Gibson from Pethers. James Taylor. Pethers back inside of Gibson, runs him wide. And it's James Taylor going to the lead. Taylor, Pethers, Atfield inside Gibson, 3 wide in turn 5. That's risky. Well, they've made it through. Gibson has got second, Pethers has got fourth, ahead of Mark Oliver. And Antonucci is ground to a halt. Well, he was ahead of Steve Kendall, so let's have a look at the onboard footage. Hyam, Langley, oh, and Antonucci gets a crack on the back of the head there. Let's see that again. There's a squeeze on there as Langley is pushed into Antonucci, up, and he gives him a crack on the back of the helmet, and he looks out cold. Well, he's come round quick enough. Back to the action. Taylor leads Gibson, Pethers, Atfield, Mark Oliver, Stephen Jennings, Rudy Tyson, Gurnett under pressure from Phil Kendall, and Steve Kendall behind's got inside of James Child, and Child has gone, the B final winner, 5th in the championship. Well, he won't be tonight, he's in the tyres right now. Longman's run Gurnett wide, much to the chagrin of Martin Gurnett. Gibson for the lead. Gibson for the lead at the hairpin, and he's got it on the run out of the chicane. Well, we're only 2 laps into this final and we've had it all. Right now we've got a group of 6 or 7 for the lead. Gibson, Taylor, Pethers, Atfield, Mark Oliver, Rudy Tyson under pressure from Stephen Jennings. On to lap 3, and behind the leading 7 there's about a second's gap to Phil Kendall, John Longman, and it's Jamie Bird, Martin Gurnett, Peter Harris. Up to turn 4, Atfield inside of Pethers for 3rd. Cleanly done. Mark Oliver in the red at the back there, looking for a way by as well if he gets the chance. They're just beginning to drop Rudy Tyson and Stephen Jennings. Paul Hyam inside of Lee Wiggins for 15th. Rounding out lap 3, here comes Pethers, back to 3rd, inside of Atfield, runs them both wide, Oliver through to 4th. Now Dave wants to organise a chase off the leaders as the leaders go away and Taylor goes for the lead. Clean as you like at turn 1 and Oliver's gone to 3rd. Gibson straight back at Taylor, and Taylor's not happy with the contact there. There certainly is in turn 3. Well, James seems to be in a bit of a strop. He's still waving his arms around. Longman's picked up 8th place from Phil Kendall. Martin Gurnett put pressure on Jamie Bird behind. End of lap 4. This is not going to be a 2-horse race. Mark Oliver was the quickest of the leading group on that lap, and he's towing Pethers and the group behind back to James Taylor. We're back to a 5-way dice for the lead, and behind Jennings is showing the nose to Rudy Tyson. Well, the field might be beginning to stretch out, but there's personal duels through the field. Longman and Kendall fight over 8th place. Behind them, Bird and Gurnett fight over 10th. Rounding out lap 5, Gibson, Taylor, Oliver almost as one. Slight gap to Peathers. He's looking over his shoulder at James Atfield, championship leader. Jamie Bird hanging on to 10th, ahead of Gurnett, Harris, Fortag, Billsborough, Rankin, Hyam. Tyson unable to shake off Stephen Jennings in the same way that Longman has Phil Kendall for a shadow. Here comes Fortag inside of Billsborough. Up front, Peathers makes his move at the final corner inside Oliver for third. Runs them both wide. Is this Atfield's chance? He's looking to the outside. There's a bit of contact there between James and Mark. Well, we've reached the halfway mark. It's been quite a spectacle so far. Be too much to hope this could go on, but it just could. Gibson has put the hammer down. He's just stretched out a couple of cart lengths on James Taylor. Atfield to the inside of Oliver. Bit of contact. Oliver runs wide. He's less than happy with that manoeuvre from James. And I think Stephen Jennings made a move on Rudy Tyson behind them. Well, he didn't make it work. Tyson is still in 6th place. And they're losing ground to Dave Peathers in 3rd. Oliver immediately looking to the inside at the hairpin. We wait for them to come back into view. Gibson, Taylor, Peathers. Oliver through to 4th. And there's more contact. And here comes Rudy Tyson around the outside. Can he do the pair of them down to turn 1? It's 3 wide, and look out for Steve Jennings behind. Atfield takes back 4th, but Oliver crisscrosses and goes by. Here comes Stephen Jennings. Side by side with Atfield into turn 2. He's got the position. But here comes James Atfield. He wants it more. He's got it back. This group's racing has been superb, but you've got to say, look at the gap, look at the ground they've lost to Peathers. And Tyson has taken Jennings, so it's back to the way it was at the start of the lap. Homing back into view. Gibson, he's stretched another cart length away from James Taylor. Gibson now beginning to look as though he's got a gap that he can use to the finish. Whatever, it's certainly going to be decided between the front 3. Still Longman clear of Kendall. Gurnett in 10th, ahead of Harrison Bird. Burrell dives Barney Langley for 18th, but loses out to Langley, and then Adam McCarr, and here comes Steve Kendall past him as well. He's now got Paul Jennings on his bumper. Jennings to the inside at turn 4. So instead of 18th, Burrell is now 22nd. Back at the front, well, it's just closed up a little. Peathers has certainly moved on to Taylor's bumper. Gibson still got a cart length. This race appears to be far from over. Taylor getting his head down, pushing on. Yes, Peathers has set the fastest lap. He's towed up behind James Taylor. He's back in this one. Harris goes to 10th. Passes Gurnett at turn 1. Taylor beginning to look for a way by. Gibson just a hint of going defensive now, hanging on to what he's got, and he's got a lot. This would be a first win for Will Gibson. Down to the hairpin. Taylor to the inside, side by side, can't get it finished. Gibson runs him wide. Back at the field, it's just as busy. The bottom hairpin is a favoured overtaking spot. Oh, and Langley's gone off. I think he spun on his own. And Kendall's been swamped by the people behind him, although there's not many of those, as Steve Kendall's had a really poor final here. Looking to go past Spencer Fortag. Door slammed shut by Spencer. That was for 16th. Trying again. He's forced it through this time. Can he hang on to it? No, he can't. Final lap. Gibson, Taylor, Pethers. Taylor at the inside, can't get it done. Look for Pethers to see if he can make a move down to turn 2. Gibson slamming the door shut. That's more than one move and barely legal. Taylor now forced to defend from Pethers. That look over his shoulder. That block could be enough for Will Gibson. Down to the hairpin, yes, Pethers has got Taylor under pressure. Will Gibson's going to win this one. Taylor's fighting now to hang on to second from Dave Pethers. Oliver's got 4th. Atfield will be 5th. Tyson 6th. Jennings 7th. Final corner for Will Gibson. One last look over the shoulder. He knows he's got this one. It's going to be a first win and the championship lead for Will Gibson.
Fastest lap of the day, Dave Evans. 49.96. Third place, Dave Evans. That's first favourite. Second place then, and his first trophy with Club 100, been waiting for it to happen. Happened today here in the sunshine at Ellough. Well done, James Taylor. And, a winner coming through on the first lap, we'll just hold on to it for pretty much the rest of the race. Well done, driver number 28, Will Gibson. There's the top 3. Thank you all very much. Heavyweights been very good at pushing out, as you always are. Driving standards much better today.